Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. This is Ghazala Amin for Prm700 within your MSPM course material. We've talked a lot about project management and it's already been, this would be your 8th lecture. I would like to start off this lecture by letting you know that this will be the summary of it. The next 2 lectures will talk about some of the reasons why you may have opted to join MSPM. Some of you may already be working on job opportunities which would require you to have more information about project management. Some of you may be looking at project management, masters in project management, to get into the workforce related to project management employment opportunities. So I think it will be a good time to sum up some of that information. We're going to talk about what is available in the market, the kind of expectations that the market has from some of our graduates, and also to talk about what to expect from this class, what are some of the standardized exam practices. Lecture number 8 will start off with multiple choice questions. What are they? The MCQs, the kind of questions and the kind of exam pattern that you will be expecting from some of these from some of the midterms and the finals that we will be coming across this particular class. This will not just be this particular class, but the exam pattern is the standardized exam practice that is followed across different countries, different nations, different organizations for testing project management knowledge. I will read through it. Some of it has already, most of it has already been covered during the past lectures, and if you've missed them, this will be your opportunity to actually kind of summarize and understand the content and what is the question really asking you. Okay, let's move on. The multiple choice questions, MCQs, for purpose of Prm700, the quizzes, the midterm and the final exam, you will come across these MCQs. The MCQ pattern will give you a little bit of information of what we are asking for, and then it will be followed by multiple choices. Generally, when you talk about MCQs, 2 answers will be very close to being the right answer. However, there is only one right answer. Let's start off with number 1. Which of the following organization types results in the project manager having the most authority? In some of the past lectures, we talked about the different organizations where the project manager enjoys the title of project manager, the functional organization, the matrix organization, and the projectized organization. Within the matrix organization, we have several criterias. The matrix organization, which is closer to the functional organization, will be considered the weak matrix, the balance matrix, and then more towards the projectized organization will be strong or projectized matrix. What I have said before is that starting from the balance matrix to more of projectized organization, you will have, or the organizations will have, a tendency to give their project managers the title project manager. Anything underneath it, the functional and the weak matrix organization tend to have titles like project coordinators and project expediters, where project managers do not have a full-time role of managing a project or multiple projects. They also have daily duties tending more towards their functional organization or their own departmental responsibilities. So most authority, you have 4 choices. You have projectized organization, you have balanced matrix, you have functional, and you have strong matrix. Now 2 answers are closest to being the right answer: the projectized and the strong matrix. However, the word most, which is underlined, tells you that the answer should be A, projectized organization. Question number 2. We talked a lot about stakeholder involvement. We talked about priorities of a project manager and what kind of situations a project manager has to deal with. Project managers should create an environment in which project stakeholders, number A, contribute frequently and appropriately. Number B, provide daily direction. Number C, are kept far away from the project. And number D, spend equal time on all projects. Your stakeholder, or even for a project manager, you cannot decide to spend equal time on all of your projects. The demands for different projects may vary over time. The issues or the conflicts may require you as a project manager, along with your stakeholders and your sponsors, to spend more time on a certain project, and then at different time maybe spending less time on this particular project and spending more time on other projects of the organization. So number D is absolutely not the right answer. B and C. B says that you are allowing your sponsors to micromanage your project. Providing daily direction, that means their trust on you as a project manager is really minimal or low. You cannot allow that situation as a project manager to exist in any of the projects that you're managing. C is absolutely not the right answer, because when needed, you always need to have your project sponsors and your project stakeholders at a distance where you can actually get hold of them quickly and get your issues resolved. That is what the project stakeholders and project sponsors are there for. It would be a nice time to actually review the definition of a project sponsor, and that is to steer your project in the right direction whenever needed. So option number A, which is contributing frequently and appropriately as demanded by the needs of your project, would be the correct answer. So question number 2, the right answer would be option A. The most complete document that helps the project team deliver its task is number A, the charter, B, the change control document, C would be the project plan, and D would be the historical archive. A, project charter, is not the most complete document. Project charter is developed in the initial phase of the project, or the initiation phase of the project. And it requires you and your sponsor and your customers to provide input into that document based on the information at that point in time. Remember, at this point in time, you may or may not have been assigned to the project as a project manager, and your project organization have minimal resources, especially the human resources, assigned to the project. So the project charter is the initial document which contains most of the information that is provided by the customer at that point in time, and that only gives you and your project organization enough information to decide whether you want to pursue the project or not. So A is definitely not the right answer. It is only the initial document. The change control document. Initially, change control document does not contain any information, and that is only in the monitoring and the execution phase, and the execution phase that you start coming across changes and you start filling up that document, which is called the change log, or the detailed change log, or the detailed change review form. So B will not be the right answer. Project plan will probably be the right answer, because the definition of it says it's the most complete document that helps the project manager in managing the execution of the project. D would be the historical archive. Historical archives would be the documents from relevant and similar projects that have taken place in the organization or other organization that you have managed to get your hands on, and those documents. So for question number 3, the right answer would be the project plan, option number C. Another relevant example for you: project managers in functional organization must ensure that the team understands. Let me reiterate the definitions or the examples for functional organization. Most of the industries in the world are functional organization where resources are lined up or grouped together by different departments. In case a new project or a new product needs to get released, resources are borrowed and shared to perform work for this new project along with the project manager that typically belongs to some other department. At the end of the project, the team and the project manager both realize that these resources, these human resources, will be sent back to their own little departments. So the resources along with the project manager realize that in long term they are reporting to some other managers, and they need to understand that their respective managers will be giving them orders or will be requiring them to perform some job activities or duties along with the responsibilities of the project. If there is a crisis in any one of the department, these resources can actually be taken back to work on those little assignments. So in that case, your project priorities will be put on the side burner, and you will be required to go back to the main department or the main organization that you were actually borrowed from. So number 4, A, conflicting orders will be given by other managers. And by other managers, the understanding is that we are talking about the other functional managers or your own department managers. Number B, future promotion depends on current project success. Number C, silence is essential for project success. And D will be all of the above. Well, D could be a right answer, but let's look at option A, B, and C. C is definitely not the right answer, because even though you guys may think of situations in practical experience where silence may be a good thing, however, team's contribution is considered a worthy present by the project manager in success of their current ongoing project. So silence is never considered a good thing. If the team members see any issues, conflicts, they need to speak up. The way you will be required to speak up may vary from organization to organization, but silence is not an excuse and silence is not a good thing. So if C is not the right option, C and D are out the door. Let's look at A and B. Looking at option number B, your future promotion depends on current project success. Well, that is a very relevant option. Now you have to decide between A and B. Even though B may be a relevant answer, but the closer to being the right answer or most correct answer would be option A. Even though your future promotion will depend on your current project success, but more importantly, like I've said, if a situation arises within your parent organization or your parent department that needs your services, you can easily be brought back to work on that, because your loyalty exists with the current department, not just the current project, but the department that you actually belong to, and you and your manager both understand that you will be going back to your original department at the end of the project. The definition of the project is a temporary, unique endeavor. So if it is temporary, you know that this will not last forever and you will be required to go back. And with that understanding, all of us continue to work in a functional organization. As project managers, we do understand that it's a very difficult situation. And as project resources, we understand that it's a very difficult situation because you have to juggle between priorities of your ongoing project and your current work environment that can call upon you whenever needed or as frequently needed as possible. 4, the right answer would be option A. Another good MCQ for your thought process. A project sponsor wants to ensure that a project manager has answered all key questions pertaining to project status. Which sponsor question is appropriate? So the definition of project sponsor, upward management, wants to get a comfort level that for their project that they're investing a lot of money in, the project manager understands what he or she is doing and will be able to lead this project to success. If you have an educated and a learned project sponsor, what would be the question that they will ask of you as a project manager to understand or to level set that expectation of comfort? Number A. Has the project manager transferred all project risks? Is there a project schedule that is supported by proper WBS, which is the work breakdown structure? Has the financial system been updated? Number C is definitely not the right answer because most of the time, just updating your financial system and being a financial guru does not make you a good project manager and does not relay that comfort level to the project sponsor that you understand the critical aspects and the issues leading the project to the success. A is definitely not the right answer because transferring all risks to other groups and organizations and to other human resources or to other resources is definitely not the best skill set that a project manager needs to have. You may opt to transfer some or few risks, but accept some risks and work on some risks. Well, that rules out the possibility of A being the right answer. Let's look at B. Is there a project schedule that is supported by proper WBS? If the project manager has the capability of creating a good work breakdown structure, which is nothing but creating a list of activities that will be taking the project from point A to point Z. They've been able to break down some of those activities and also been able to estimate the time duration of how long some of those activities may take to be performed by different resources. Remember the triple constraints of the project? The triangle and the 3 nodes? It's understanding the scope, which is knowing what needs to be delivered, the time and the cost. The time and the cost is based on the time schedule that the resources take to perform some of those tasks or the schedule. So a WBS, a complete good WBS, gives that comfort level to the project sponsor that yes, the project manager understands what needs to be done in a certain probable time frame. So B would be the right option in this particular scenario. Again, a good summary of what we have talked about in the earlier lectures. Human resource and project cost need is greatest in which project phase? Remember the bell curve? On the bottom, there were 5 phases: the initiation phase, the planning phase, the execution, the monitoring and the control phase, and then the closeout phase. In the initiation phase, which is option number A, you have minimal resources. Closure phase, again, most of the resources have completed their work and have gone out of the project or have moved on to other better opportunities, I'm sure. Now B and C. B, you have started to understand what kind of resources are needed to do the work on your project. So you have started to acquire the resources slowly and gradually. But the peak of it is where the bell curve peak is, and that is in the execution phase of it. It would have been a little bit more confusing if the monitoring and control was also given as one of the options, because then execution and monitoring and control go hand in hand. Remember the bidirectional arrow in some of the earlier slides. However, that option is not given for a reason. So in this particular case, C would be your right option. Phase end reviews should be used to help the sponsor. There's a little bit of confusion here, but it was actually clarified in some of the previous lectures. Remember the bubbles, the 5 phases, and a statement that said each phase needs a sign-off and should ideally have a tangible piece of document. What was the tangible piece of document in the initiation phase of it? The project charter. Planning would probably have a WBS, which would be fairly complete. The execution, monitoring and control would have status reports, and then the closure has an end user sign-off document. So the phase end reviews, there was another statement that was given that something needs to be signed off by the sponsor before the project manager should proceed from one phase of the project to the next phase of the project. That sign off or the phase end review should be used to help the sponsor. Obviously, everything is there to help the sponsor and help the project proceed to the logical ending. So there are 4 options that are given in this situation: to determine if the project should continue to the next phase, to understand what will be accomplished in the next phase, final excuse for keeping staff members on the project, and acquire additional funding. Number C is definitely not the right answer. Final excuse for keeping staff members on the project. If you're talking about the storybook project and how good projects are run, C is definitely not the right answer. A, B, and D are very close to being right answers. Each one of them makes some logical sense. So let's talk about D, acquire additional funding. That may or may not be the case. Number B, option B, understand what will be accomplished in the next phase, is not the right answer, because the tangible piece of document has everything that you have done in the ongoing phase. It doesn't talk about what to expect in the next phase. So in the initiation phase, you have acquired all the knowledge from the customer and put it in that charter document. The charter document has nothing in there that talks about what would be accomplished in the planning phase. The WBS in the planning phase will only be an ideal situation of how to take the project from A to Z, from starting to the end. What will happen in the execution phase and how it will be monitored and how will we demonstrate the variances cannot be talked about in the planning phase. So it's not a magical world where you can actually start predicting things before the execution of that particular phase. So B could actually be justified to be the right answer, but it is not the right answer, because there is nothing magical about project management? So A, that would be the time that you can use that tangible piece of document and start thinking of, is it justifiable for me and my organization to proceed? What was given to me, for example, in the charter document seemed to have made a lot of sense at that point in time. But now when I've done my planning, this will probably require double the amount of money that the customer has actually agreed to pay at this point in time. So is it relevant for me to continue to work on the project? If the customer doesn't agree to pay me more to do this work, then I should actually put a stop to the work and continue to cease or move on to the closure phase by saying I don't want to continue on this project because it does not make financial sense for me and my organization. Okay, so for question number 7, A would be the right option. It is to determine if the project should continue to the next phase of the project. So from the initiation, the charter document lets you move to the planning. Planning will allow you to move on to the execution. Monitoring is continuing to go on at the same time as the execution. And at the end of the status, when everything has been executed, moving on to the closure phase, the customer will have some kind of an understanding and a comfort level that you have given or you have provided what the initial requirement was as far as a product or a service is concerned. So question number 7, option A. There were 2 lectures that I continuously talked about the processes of the integration management knowledge area as far as PMBOK is concerned. And this particular MCQ deals with the same situation. All of the following processes are part of the project integration management per PMBOK, except, look at the word except. You have A, manage project execution, B, project plan development, C, schedule control, and D, integrated change control. All of the following are the processes of the project integration management knowledge area. If you look at the color-coded picture that was provided, or the Excel spreadsheet with columns with the knowledge areas on the left-hand corner and topmost row having the phases, you saw different processes, and schedule control is not part of your integration management knowledge area. So looking at the word except, A, B and D are definitely the processes, and so C, schedule control, would be the right option for question number 8. Number 9 is a very tricky one, and there were a couple of instances where I talked about this particular situation. And I always say that lessons learned is an important aspect of project closure phase. And I always put a lot of emphasis on the project closure phase. So question number 9 relates to the same situation. Although lesson learned seems to be such a logical term, companies still fail to properly conduct lessons learned exercise because A, organizations do not intend to mature. Number B, companies do not like to admit that they have made a mistake. Number C, lessons learned are generally not useful. And number D, team members are quickly moved on to other projects, which leaves no time for lessons learned exercise. Well, knowingly, option A will not be the right option because all organizations tend to lean more towards maturing as an organization. Number B, companies do not like to admit that they have made a mistake. Well, lessons learned are not always about the bad things that have happened on a project. Lessons learned are also an opportunity for the project team to talk about good things that have happened to the project. And I always use two words, the sads and the glads of the project. And it's again an opportunity to talk about things that have worked on well versus things that did not seem to have worked well. So B is not the right answer, or it will not be the right option in this case. Number C, lessons learned are generally not useful. There is an understanding, and if you ask a lot of people, they would say, oh, what a waste of time. Lessons learned are generally not useful because we never tend to use it. Well, that's the flaw in practice. It's not a flaw in process. Lessons learned are extremely valuable if they are used appropriately. Good project organizations and good project managers tend to ask relevant project managers or project managers who have done relevant projects for their lessons learned documents. It gives them an opportunity, the project managers, an opportunity to understand what went well and what did not go well. It's a great learning tool, it's a great tool for project managers for themselves when they are starting a new project, to make sure that the same difficulties are not happening again. Or in the same situation, to ensure that things that did go well are repeated to ensure the success of this upcoming project. Option number D, team members are quickly moved on to other projects, which leaves no time for lessons learned exercise. One of the dialogues that we had in some of the previous lectures, we talked about not just the team members understanding that it's time to move on to different projects. It's also the project manager, because of the security reasons of his job or her job, you are also learning or you are also looking for other job opportunities or other projects. And once you are given the responsibility of other projects, while the closure phase is going on, you're also looking at, you're doing a cost-benefit analysis, or you're working with the customer to start the initiation phase of the project, of another project. So there's a good probability that there is parallel work going on for you as a project manager too. So not just your team members who for job security reasons obviously want to be hooked on to another project, yourself as a project manager are also either working on or looking for other opportunities. So your interest in the ongoing project or the current project is fairly minimal. So the right option in this situation is option D. Team members are quickly moved on to other projects, which leaves no time for lessons learned exercise. Whether right or wrong, D would be the right option for question number 9. Before I move on, one technique that can be applied by the project managers to lessen the situation is to ensure that the WBS has relevant time period or estimation to make sure that some of these activities are taking place, and until and unless these activities are taking place with all of the resources, you cannot claim to close down your project. So there are a little bit of responsibility and accountability of the project team resources and the project manager exist if there is sufficient placeholders in your WBS in the closure phase, and thus so much emphasis on the closure phase. If we've talked about the MCQs, moving on, let's talk about some of the reasons why you are part of the project management graduate program. So what are the kind of employment opportunities that are out there for project managers? Good employment opportunities exist for project management professionals and experienced practitioners as the increasingly complex, dynamic and globalized environment in which organizations operate favors the pursuit of projects and adoption of project management methodologies. In a world of depleting resources, we have to make the most of what we have and make the most of it from profit-wise also. More and more people tend to adopt project managers or tend to acquire project managers and adopt project management methodologies to make the most of the current resources that they have. And the reason is the effective and efficient implementation of those resources, making the most of what you have. Surveys and periodic analysis of job offerings in the print media and on the internet suggest that demands in different fields for competent, skilled, educated and experienced project management professional is strong and will remain so in the foreseeable future. We recently did a Rosa Parks survey. We actually looked at the results of the Rosa Parks survey, and we realized that between 3 subsequent weeks, the demand for project management professionals or the demand for project managers in varying industries increased 300%. I think it was done over a period of 2 or 3 years. So project managers are in a lot of demand, and a lot of data is actually supporting the continuous demand for these project managers in the market. Organizations that were typically under lower ebb, remember that arrow, the manufacturing plants, the telecommunication industries, the NGOs, the construction and the architecture, and then the Department of Defense. If you look at all the industries, even some of the lower organizations that are considered not ideal for project management methodologies are also opting for hiring project managers, and they're trying to projectize some of their activities so that they can make the most of it and they can start adopting some of the project management methodologies to kind of make way for a full-fledged projectized organization. And while we are doing that, we are increasing the opportunities for future and upcoming project managers, and there is becoming more and more increasing demand, not just for practitioners in this field, but also educated project management professionals who understand some of those tools and techniques and can learn to apply them. Knowledge of and experience with project management is often a prerequisite for the career advancement of executives and professionals as projects become an established way of doing business in organizations. While we were growing up, there was a world of MBAs, Masters in Business Administration. The world is slowly and gradually becoming projectized, and more often you come across certified project management professionals, you come across educated and practitioners in the project management field going up the ladder from career development perspective and going up in the executive ranks of corporate world. And all that based on the main fundamental reason of how to make the most, how to motivate your resources to the maximum capability, how to ensure resolving all the conflicts timely to make sure that your projects and your organization do not get hurt, streamlining your work processes. All those words, the lingos of project management have started making waves in the executive ranks of corporate world. So sample project job advertisements. If I look at some of the job opportunities that are out there, and this is from newspaper clippings, Projects control manager, and obviously there's a monthly annual income or monthly income that goes along with it. But the qualification, you will notice that it's diverse. Project management is a diverse field. So even though a lot of engineers are approaching the world of project management, you see people from all over, very, very diverse fields. The eligibility criteria for entering MSPM, MS in Project Management, is only 16 years of education, and we get people from social sciences, people from natural sciences, in medical field, MBBS doctors pursuing this degree. You see obviously engineers I've talked about, but you see people who have done MBAs or BBAs approaching this field. So qualification, even though most of these advertisement will be very specific to a certain field or a certain profession, but if you are project management, if you are a project management professional or educated with an MS degree in project management, your work experience or your qualification will prepare you to apply against any of these positions that call for a project manager. And that can actually get your foot in the door to, or at least get an interview to get started. A planning manager, a cost control engineer, very relevant to some of the experiences or some of the education that you will receive as part of project management. So the post of a project manager, if that was on your left hand side, was looking more specifically for engineers, the right hand side is looking more specifically for MBAs or the BBAs who are educated project management professional or know what project management is all about, and they're looking for, look at the age limit. The assumption in the initial days was an ideal project manager would be between 40 to maybe 55, and we are reducing that age group. Look at the advertisement on your right hand side. For a post of project manager with a required qualification of an MBA, MA Economics or MA in Public Administration, the age limit that they're looking for is 25 to 35 years. The experiences, they're looking for 3 years in project management. Varying information and varying requirements that are coming out of the corporate sector or even the organization, government organizations, that they're looking for people who are ready to go into the field, get their hands dirty and do the work. People who are actively going to participate in the execution of the projects. Project managers, again I will reiterate, is not just sitting in a corner office and answering emails and creating fancy presentations. Project manager's job and lifestyle is dictated by the ongoing project, and the priority of the project is the topmost priority for a project manager at that point in time, and sometime also creates a havoc with the work-life balance. With that understanding, welcome to the field of project management. The NGOs, another upcoming field that is bursting with requirements for educated project management professionals. This is the United Nations Development Organization that are actually looking for some of these project managers, some of the NGO or the social sector development kind of work that is going on. And that is not disaster recovery, another very, very important area which requires stringent project management processes in place to ensure that we have minimized risks, and when there is a disaster, Allah na kare, when it happens, we are ready and prepared to deal with the situation. So the ERA would be an ideal place for hiring some of the project management educated professionals. Okay, and if you look at the title and the number of posts, these are, a lot of it is dealing with project managers or entry-level post that requires project management educated professionals. More career opportunities taken up from different Sunday newspapers. The resident engineers, the structural design engineers, for career opportunities that are out there. These are all opportunities that you can claim by getting yourself relevant with the terms and terminologies, the lingo of project management. But it does require work, not just passing a particular class and getting a degree in your hands, but also it depends on a lot of education and outside relevant studies from material that are out in the web or in the books, or are made available to you through this class or through this program. So the methodologies that we talked about in the previous lecture, we're going to move on to another set of project management professional association. So we talked about the reference material, we talked about the relevant material. Now what is all this information that is on the website? Some of the project management information is grouped by some of the professional associations that exist out in the market. Project management associations. Recent years have witnessed a phenomenal growth in the number of, as well as membership in project management associations across the globe. Dozens of project management associations have been established at the national level, mainly in Europe, North America, and Asia. A few transnational associations have also been established. The developed nation grabbed the concept of project management early on, and early on being not hundreds of years ago, but project management education is again a relatively newer term. So I would say early 70s, mid 70s, and then really getting into the race by late 80s or early 90s. Collectively, Project Management Association comprises hundreds of thousands of project management professionals, with overall membership growing at an exponential rate. If you look at where PMI was a few years ago to now where it is right now, look at the number of PMPs, the project management professionals, who are industry certified by the PMI organization. If you look at the number, that's an exponential growth only in Pakistan. Recently, there was a time when I became a PMP, there was a time when all of the PMPs were listed on the website. Now there are hundreds and thousands of PMPs out there in the market. And there is a danger of saturation. However, the demand of project management professional is growing at such an exponential rate that I don't see any dearth of or any reduced or any risk of reducing the demand for project manager professionals out there. Project management associations have contributed immensely to popularizing project management and helping improve the way in which projects are being initiated, planned, and implemented around our world. So what are the functions of these associations? PM advocacy, facilitating cooperation and networking, development of PM standards and methodologies, training programs in project management, organization of project management related event activities, sponsorship of project management research. That was another neglected area that is really worked upon these days, that is improving what exists and how to increase the efficiency of these PM processes. Another important aspect of is publication of books, journals, papers on peer project management, knowledge dissemination about project management, acknowledgement for contributions to the world of project management. All this is being done through different organizations, and one of them being PMI. PMI is not the only association out there in the work, and don't take me wrong. And these are just some selected examples, and believe me, there are plenty more out there in the market. Project Management Institute being one, then there is an Association Project Management, APM, there's an Engineering Project Management Forum, there's a German Project Management area, there's a Swiss Project Management Association, there's a Project Management Associates, it's the National Association of Project Managers, there's an Australian Institute of Project Management, the IPMA, the ASAPM, the IAPPM, and there are plenty more out there. Believe me, this is just a very small subset of the associations that exist out there. Professional Project Management Associations. The Project Management Institute, PMI. The slogan is making project management indispensable for business results. www.pmi.org. The PMI is the largest and most influential association of project management professionals in the world right now. And again, it was not founded that long ago. It was founded in 1969. Headquartered in Pennsylvania, USA, representation in over 170 countries and growing. Global membership of over 265,000. 70% members are, however, in North America. And this statistics can actually change, and it is changing. The number of PMI, there is a PMI chapter in Islamabad, there's a PMI chapter in Karachi, and the whole PMI chapter in association and liaisons with the academia and the industry is growing at an exponential rate. There are 2 representative offices, again, that is growing. More importantly, what you need to understand is the PMBOK, the Project Management Body of Knowledge, and the OPM3. There are global accreditation centers, and it organizes several event activities and conferment of professional awards. When you have that certification in your hand, that does not make you or does not guarantee that you know all about project management. However, being certified in any project management methodology or through any association of project management gives a comfort level to the person who's interviewing you or the organizations that you are representing, that you know and understand the tools and techniques and the methodology of how and why a project should be run in a certain way or in a certain format. And that's an important criteria these days. So remember that example of standing in front of a car. The key in your hand is having that certification. That does not guarantee that you know how to drive, but it does give you, the person who's looking at it, some kind of an understanding that if you have the key and you're standing in front of a car, you should probably know how to drive. The working experience as a project manager actually gives you the comfort level of driving. So the difference between driving in on Islamabad roads and driving on Pindi roads in Raja Bazar would probably be the difference which is acquired by different experiences in project management world. PMI has several journals. Remember, one of those bullets talked about some of the content or the coursework or the journals, the books, the publications, the research that goes on by associating yourself with that organization. In addition to its several book publications, the PMI publishes, along with other periodicals, the renowned Journal of Project Management on a quarterly basis. The articles published cover all areas of project management and are valuable contributions which give an added insight into the subject while achieving an editorial balance among research, technique, theory, and practice. To become a member and to get access to some of these journals will also be this relevant study material to pursue within the field of project management. PMI has its own accreditation system. The PMI has an accreditation system for academic programs and project management. PMI accreditation is considered a desirable asset which several universities are striving for, as it assures the quality of project management degree programs. Again, it's just how do I qualify myself? How do I put a stamp of approval saying, yes, I know what I'm doing within the project management world. It's that board of directors or that authority that puts that stamp of approval saying, yes, based on comparison with other programs, yes, you do stand a chance. Again, another one, the International Project Management Association, IPMA, World Leader in Project Management Certification. Founded in 1965, it's the world's largest project management association. It is headquartered in the Netherlands. Association of 45 national project management associations across the globe. Represents 40,000 plus project management professionals and growing. It has an IPMA confidence baseline and it has a 4-level certification program and also has an international journal of project management. Again, the IPMA is something where you can go look at relevant material or pursue a certification. Another reputable association, the Association of Project Management, the APM, founded in 1972, based in High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire, UK, 12 regional branches in UK and 1 in Hong Kong. It's the largest PM association in Europe. 16,500 individual and 500 corporate members. It also has APM body of knowledge, just like the project management body of knowledge that PMI has. The APM body of knowledge also has some of the certain or relevant material related to the field of project management. So all these associations, what are they all leading to? What are we all working towards? We are all, no matter which association you adopt, which certification you pursue, we are all gearing up towards being educated and learned project management professionals. So we talk the same language, we share the lingo, we share the tools and techniques, we are able to actually polish upon and make progress over the techniques that are out there in the market, improve upon them and make the most of what is available from resources perspective. And that is the main aim of each and every project management professional out there in the market or in the academia or within the corporate sector, out in the government sector, out in the Department of Defense or any other applicable or relevant field of education. So project management literature, out there we talked about the organizations and the associations. Now let's look at the project management literature that is out there available for you to get yourself more out there and more educated in the field of project management. The project management literature. A huge number of printed publications on the subject of project management exist. These includes books, research-based or the non-research-based, articles, doctoral theses, white papers, reports, and case studies. Most of the publications on project management are in English. There is, I think, most of it right now you will find in English. However, while project management is making highways into every nation of the world, more and more translations are taking place and more work is coming up in different languages. But there's a growing body of publication in other languages also. Much of the published material on project management can be downloaded from the internet free of cost or commercially. Multiple thousands of case studies, thousands of books that are out there to make you a better project manager, to make you a better manager, to adopt some of those generalized management skills, how to resolve conflicts, how to motivate your resources, how to create a better WBS, how to create a WBS, not just a better one, but how to actually get started, how to schedule time properly, how to make the most of your time, how to make the most of the time of the resources that are actually employed on the project. Thousands of books are out there in the market. A number of project and project management research centers, institutes, associations, and consulting firms around the world sponsor and publish research on project management themes. Again, if we take the example of some of the more known association, the Project Management Institute being one of them, the PMI has published numerous very insightful books on project management and its areas which are available from its bookstore. So if you go into www.pmi.org in this case, and I'm not trying to advertise the PMI organization in any way, but it's just so that it, the more information, more publication exists through that website, but you obviously have your own choice and you can actually go look at it. Some of it is available free of cost. Some of it is obviously you would have to incur the cost, so it will be your choice. This is just an example. This is definitely not an advertisement, or I'm not advising you to pursue a certain certification over the other. The Business Savvy Project Manager, Power of Enterprise-Wide Project Management. One of the more important ones that are coming up are more and more books and literature on risks. So identifying and managing project risk, and then the risks. The book collections on project management. There are so many out there. You can go through Amazon. You can just do a little Google search. Try writing books on project management and do a search on it. You will come across thousands of book listing, authors, papers. It's just numerous information. There's just unbelievable amount of information that is out there in the market or on the website also. What I would like you to go and pursue is get an understanding of why you're pursuing project management education. Start browsing through the Sunday newspapers. Look at some of the job opportunities that are out there, the employment opportunities that exist right now. Get a comfort level that irrespective of your education background, irrespective of what you used as the last 16 years of education, whether it was in natural science, social science, engineering, medical, IT, telecom, irrespective of the basic degree that you have, the 16-year educational degree, within the field of project management, you get an understanding of how to do certain things in a certain way. It's a diverse, generalized kind of education that will give you a comfort level of applying in most of those job opportunities. The requirements will vary, but rest assured that even though different methodologies will be named, you have a basic understanding of what goes in. So, as an educated project management professional, you will know the basic tools and techniques of making the most of your resources, making the most of the available resources to drive your projects effectively and efficiently. It's a good thing to go do research. It's a wonderful thing to be certified. Whatever association or whatever certification you tend or you choose to pursue, after getting the right education will be up to you, depending on your job, current job, or looking at the trends of the market. No matter what certification you choose to pursue, it's always a step in the right direction. After getting the basic PM education and getting the relevant work experience. Without having the work experience in project management, no certification can help you understand the nitty-gritty details of what goes on during execution or the monitoring and the control phase. You need to have that experience to gain that confidence. It's always a great thing to read up on some of the books on project management. You will love the aspect of how the lingo of project managers is shared across methodologies, across associations, across different corporations, across different academia offering project management education. So, good luck reading, learning, and pursuing on the field of project management. Good luck to you. This was lecture number 8, and I will see you again in lecture number 9, following the same theme and pursuing on what we have available out there and how to make the most of what is available, just to get you knocking on the doors or knocking on the world of project management. Good luck. Allah Hafiz, and I will see you in for the next lecture.